At number 7 on my list, it's going to shock a lot of people. I bumped him up a ton. Oh man, y'all don't even know. I guarantee you, y'all don't even know. 98% of y'all don't even know what today is, do y'all? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I planned this video today on purpose because we are now exactly 1 month away until the kickoff of college football. Yes, that's right, you heard me correctly. We are now 1 month away until the big time matchup between Hawaii and Vanderbilt. And I'll show you right here, there's also going to be some other good games on. You got USC and San Jose State, Notre Dame and who cares? The point is college football is back. I don't care who's playing. I'm just excited it's coming back. With that being said, since we are exactly 1 month away, I think this is perfect and ideal timing to come out with the first ever Matt Be Great preseason top 25 poll. This is the first ever. We're making history on the channel. And the last time we came out with a ranking system, that was about 2 months ago where I came out with my post-spring top 25 rankings. And you guys loved that video. And I saw a lot of comments just like this one right here got over 100 likes saying, yo, Matt, you need to come out with your own ranking every single week. And maybe we do that. I'm really liking the idea of that, so just let me know again in the comment section if y'all want to see me come out with my own rankings every single week. But for now, in today's video, the premise is relatively simple. This is my preseason top 25, and yeah, it's simple. Yeah, I can't dumb it down any more than that. And oh yeah, by the way, we ain't doing no intro, none of that. We're getting straight into it. If you do want to be a part of our amazing college football community, consider hitting that subscribe button. If you don't want to join, well, it is what it is. By the way, shout out to everybody that's already subscribed. All right, Matt, I should have crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at number 25, I like this spot for them. It's not too high, it's not too low, and they do deserve some recognition and hype. I got the Tulane Green Wave. Tulane is the perfect fit at number 25 for me, just based off of the fact alone they upset USC last year in that crazy bowl game. At number 24, you know who I got? I got Notre Dame. Am I the only one who is sick and tired year after year after year where these people put Notre Dame not just in the top 10, but sometimes they do it in the top 5? They never live up to the hype, never live up to the expectations. I don't believe in this team or program. Y'all gonna have to prove something to me. So for now, you're at 24. At 23 on my list, this may shock some people, but I got the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Last year, they quietly had a top 25 season with everything that went on. They got their quarterback coming back. Do not sleep on them, especially in the SEC West. I think they're going to beat some teams they have no business beating. Nobody's really talking about them, though, because they got the new head coach. It just seems like they're due for a down year, but I don't think so. I'm higher on them the most. Look out for the Bulldogs. At number 22 on my list, this is my sleeper team in the Big 12. I got Texas Tech. Remember, Texas Tech, they beat Texas last year. I like the Raiders. I could see them going anywhere from 10-2 to probably 7-5. Who knows what's going to happen? At number 21 on my list, going to our SEC school, I got Kentucky. Kentucky's a very interesting team because they got a solid head coach, but they also got the new transfer quarterback from NC State, Devin Leary. They're always going to have a solid defense. I think the offense is the question mark. Even last year, Will Levis, it was a question mark. I like Kentucky. I expect them to make a little bit of noise, but pretty much like every year, they're going to go 8-4. That is what it is. At number 20 on my list, I got a team that won the Big 12, and that's the Kansas State Wildcats. Kansas State is, how do I say this? Kansas State, you know what you're going to get, never more, never less. They're always going to have a solid ball club, solid team, a bunch of underrated 2- and 3-star guys that always over-exceed expectations. They're a good team. I think 20 is the perfect spot for them. At number 19 on my list, I got another Big 12 team, and the only reason I'm putting them here is because of their recruiting. It was outstanding, and that's the Oklahoma Sooners led by Brent Venables. The only reason I have them at 19 is just because of talent alone, and that's it. They have a ton of potential. I just think this year they're going to be 2 times better than last year. Last year, it was pretty much an experiment, just get the feel for things. This year, BV, he's back for a second year. He's going to turn it on. I expect the defense to be 2 times better. Dylan Gabriel's back. I'm liking Oklahoma. At 18 on my list, this is a team that nobody's talking about, but I guarantee you and promise this, if they was in the Pac-12 or ACC, everybody be clamoring about them, but since they're in the SEC, nobody talks about them or gives them recognition. I got the Arkansas Razorbacks. Yeah, what about that? You see, everybody just counts them out just due to the fact they're in the SEC West and it's one of the hardest divisions of all time. It's just so wicked hard to play in there considering you got to play all these tough teams year after year after year. But I'm not going to degrade Arkansas just because I see a bunch of losses on their schedule, and I hope that makes sense. Do I think they're going to have a great season? No, but I think they're going to go 8-4, 9-3, and that is extremely good in the SEC West. The main reason I got them at 18, though, is because I love their quarterback, one of the most slept-on players in the entire country, KJ Jefferson. Keep your eyes on the Razorbacks. At number 17, we got another SEC school. We're going back-to-back like Meat Mill and Drake. I got the A&M Aggies. Do I want to put A&M on this list? Not really, just because they didn't even make a bowl game last year. But, and I have a big but, I'd be lying to you guys if I told you I didn't think that Jimbo was going to turn things around, because I think he will. With all the talent coming back, you got Connor Wingman. He's presumably going to be the starting quarterback. I think they're going to bounce back in a pretty good way. 17 is a good sweet spot for A&M because you're not overhyping them and you're not underhyping them. You do got to give them some respect. I'll leave it at that. Jimbo's a clown and his reputation, it's on the line. And number 16 on my list, guess what? Another SEC school, and I like this team a lot. We got the South Kakalaki Gamecocks. I've hyped up South Carolina so much. I've even said this is the best team that nobody's talking about. I've already made an entire 15-minute video talking about them alone. So due to that, I'm not going to talk about them too much. You know why I'm high on them. Shane Beamer ball, it's in full effect. Spencer Rattler, he's back. Hopefully he turns on in what is, I guess, his last year of college football. And then that defense is underrated as well. At number 15 on my list, I got the runner-ups in the national championship. They might as well not even have shown up to that game. I got the Horned Frogs, TCU. I know some people are going to say, Matt, 15, is that kind of high? And no, I don't think so. Everybody's going to say, oh, well, they lost like 80% of their starters to the NFL. And yeah, they did, but Sonny Dykes, he's back. They're just going to plug in and replace those guys. Are they going to go back to the championship? Probably not. I mean, that'd be dang near impossible. But I still think they're going to have a good year. They have a good team. A lot of people fail to mention that they got former Alabama four-star recruit JoJo Earl and also some other Alabama players in the transfer portal. And I don't care who you are. You get some Alabama transfers, and keep in mind, these guys were starting at Alabama. You get these starters at Bama. Yeah, it's going to help your team. So yes, they lost some pieces, but they also gained some pieces, just like every team in the country. I like Sonny Dykes. He's got that winning DNA that you can't learn and you can't teach. 15's a good spot for them. Are they ever going to be a top 10 team? Probably not. I mean, I don't even want to get into the conversation, but we all know they didn't really deserve to be in that. They were not one of the best 4 teams, and I'll leave it at that. I worded that wrong. They did deserve to be there, but were they really one of the best 4 teams in the country? No. That is a different conversation for a different day. Number 14 on my list, a team that everybody's high on, but I'm not. I got the Washington Huskies. They got Michael Penix Jr. coming back. I expect them to have a good season, but not a great season. And I'll leave it at that. At number 13 on my list, we're going back-to-back again. I got another Pac-12 team. I got Oregon and Bo Nix. Shall I say anything more? Bo Nix, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, as long as he's not playing SEC competition. Here's the thing with Pac-12 teams. We saw it last year. Yeah, Oregon's going to look good against Pac-12 competition, but we saw what happened when they played SEC competition. It's really hard for me to put Pac-12 teams inside the top 10 just because it's so soft, and comparing them to the SEC, it's not even comparable. It's not even the same atmosphere or realm. So that's why I'm not too high on Oregon and Washington. At number 12 on my list, I don't know why everybody's hyping them up. I got to see some more out of them. I got Clemson. Look, man, y'all been piss poor and pathetic the past 2 to 3 years. Y'all got to change something. It just doesn't show in their record because the ACC is terrible. You put Clemson in the SEC the past couple of years, they're going 8-4, maybe at max, probably 7-5. Y'all got to show me something, Clemson. At number 11 on this list, one of the most underrated teams in the entire top 25, I got Utah. The Utes and Cam Rising back at it again, running it back. The one reason I love this Utah team is we saw it last year against USC. They're physical. They're one of the most physical teams in the Pac-12. And for that reason alone, I have no problem whatsoever putting them at number 11. I love me some physical teams. At number 10 on my list, I'm bumping them down a little bit. I got the Penn State Nittany Lions. I was high on them after spring practice and all of that, and it's not really that they've done anything bad. I mean, they haven't played a game. It's just that I've seen a little more out of these other teams that I like. I like Penn State at 10. Unfortunately, they got to play 2 of the best teams in the country, Michigan and the little bro, Ohio State. At number 9 on my list, perfect spot for them, I got the Cinnamon Rolls, Florida State. Defense should be pretty good. Offense should be A-okay. Got your quarterback coming back. This is supposed to be the breakout year for Florida State. We're going to see if they're the real deal or not. I'm excited to see how they play. At number 8, I got USC. That may be low for some people, but I'm just concerned with the defense, and I'm concerned about the physicality of this team. I don't know if USC can even compete against teams like Georgia, Michigan, or heck, even Ohio State, I'll throw them in there, little bro, and Alabama. I don't know if they can. I really don't, just because of what Utah did to them last year. I hope they can, but they're going to have to show something to me. Until they do, I got them at number 8. At number 7 on my list, it's going to shock a lot of people. I bumped them up a ton. I got the Texas Longhorns. I believe in my last ranking, I had them around something, what was it, like 14-ish, 13, something around that ballpark. I know I didn't have them in the top 10, or at least I think I didn't. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But the point is, I know I didn't have them as high as number 7. The reason I put them up so much is because I looked at this, and before I sat down to record this video, I was like, well, would I pick Penn State to beat Texas? No. Would I pick Florida State to beat Texas? No. I wouldn't pick USC, Utah, Washington. I wouldn't pick any of those teams to beat Texas. So therefore, that's why I got Texas at number 7. Their defense is going to be as good as it's ever been, and their offense, same thing for that. You got Quinn Ewers, one of the best and one of my favorite quarterbacks in the nation. Quinn Ewers, that kid can play. And then you got the Sartnado, Steve Sarkisian. That's the real question mark. Can the Sartnado win some games and win some big-time games? He's a great offensive coordinator. He's great at calling offensive plays, but as a head coach, he's got a shaky resume. We'll have to see what happens there, but I'm really high on Texas heading into the season. At number 6 on my list, I got the LSU Tigers. Go Tigers, like Ed Ogeron said. This speaks for itself. LSU overexceeded expectations in year 1. Brian Kelly, he's back for year 2. He's ready to go. They got their starting quarterback back. Everything's lining up for another great season. Can't go wrong with LSU at number 6. At number 5, we're getting into the top 5. Here's where things start to heat up. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. At number 5 in my preseason top 25 list, making history here, we got the Tennessee Volunteers. Yeah, I know, that's going to shock a lot of people, but it shouldn't. This team's a real deal. Even if Joe Milton doesn't live up to the hype, people don't understand this. They got a 5-star backup, Nico Imaleva, who, in my humble opinion, don't tell people this, I think he's already better than Joe Milton, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Even if Milton doesn't live up to the hype, Tennessee is still going to go 9-3, 10-2. And that is the worst case scenario. Realistically speaking, the only team that's going to beat them is Alabama and Georgia. We'll have to see what happens there. Love everything out of this Tennessee team. The only concern I have is the defense. Defense needs to improve, but heck, when you score 50 points per game, does the defense even matter? Didn't matter in the Bama game, but speaking of Bama, we'll get to them in just a second. At number 4 on my preseason top 25 list, I got little bros themselves, or little bro themselves, or himself, however you say that, the little bro Ohio State. There's not too much to say about this. I said it 8 times in the last 30 seconds. You're a little bro. Until you can compete, not even beat Michigan, until you can compete with them, I ain't putting you in the top 3. And to go on top of that, you had one of the best quarterbacks you've ever had, arguably the best quarterback you've ever had, CJ Stroud, and you couldn't win a title. My point is, there's no way whoever starts this year for Ohio State, he'll probably be good, but he's not going to be as good as CJ Stroud. And even with Stroud, you couldn't even beat Michigan. The defense is trash, and it's embarrassing, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. You're number 4, little bro. Sorry, I'm not sorry. And number 3 on my list, I got Alabama. Yeah, self-explanatory. And the reason, and I almost put Ohio State above Bama, but if Bama played Ohio State tomorrow, I'm putting my money on Bama, so that's how I come down to that logic. I got Alabama at number 3 because of Nick Saban and Nick Saban alone. Doesn't matter who's starting quarterback. You can put me back there. We're winning 10 games. It is as simple as that. At number 2 on our list, and obviously this is going to spoil number 1, I got Michigan. This is the make or break year. If Jim Harbaugh doesn't win it this year, he probably will never win it. You got your star quarterback coming back, one of the most talented quarterbacks I've ever seen, J.J. McCarthy. You got 2 of the top, probably 6 running backs in the country coming back. Defense is as good as ever. This team is really, really, really good. Shouldn't have lost to TCU last year. I don't know how y'all did that, but I know Michigan fans don't want me to get into that subject. And last but not least, obviously, it's not even close. I wish I could tell y'all how big the gap is, but it's not even in the same ballpark. Georgia, number 1. And it's not even close, and I can't emphasize that enough. Georgia is the number 1 team in the country in my eyes, and you can't even debate it. There we have it. MattBeGreat's preseason top 25, the first ever I've done this on the channel. Hopefully we can do this for many years to come. Let me know your thoughts down below. But roll below.